You guys ever think about how like a corn is kind of like a potato in which you can do almost anything to it and then you can eat it? So like you can eat a corn if you cook it, but if you cook a potato, you can also eat it. But wait, I know you can do that with most things.
Yep.
You can't eat a corn raw or a potato raw. So
yes, you can.
But you can put the corn in the oven. You can put a potato in the oven. You can put a corn in the microwave. You can put a potato in the microwave. Think of any way to cook.
You can also make
a potato or a corn, and you can do it. Okay, but you can't have it raw.
Can you make potato popcorn?
So look.
You take potato seeds.
It's still edible if you do it that way.
Have you ever tried it?
An egg is the same way. Why aren't most foods like that? Are some foods better because you can eat them raw? Like you can eat a tomato and an apple raw, but you can't eat corn raw. Can you eat corn raw?
Yeah,
can probably you raw dog the corn.
Probably just not good.
Oh my god, have you seen the people on TikTok who are making dildos out of corn?
No.
Dude, people make molds out of corn and use them as dildos.
Okay.
The fuck?
There's a process.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, they make molds and it's like, wow, why are they putting corn in the mold? And they're like, oh no.
Is it the people who also put the parodies of like...
Is it because it's ribbed? It's naturally ribbed?
Probably.
For their pleasure?
For their pleasure.
Yeah.
For the people making the molds pleasure?
For anybody who's putting that corn dough in their...
Are they selling those on like... Are they selling them? Like,
what?
Are they selling those? Just like...
I don't
know. Are they just making
them for themselves?
Craig, corn dildo. Look it up.
Fucking wild.
Etsy?
Because I feel like a couple of years ago, people would be like, oh, "I don't have sex," and they wouldn't talk about them on the internet. You could just be like, "I would like to date someone," and now people on TikTok are like, "I like to suck toes. This is my corn dildo." Like, the fuck? People are so just like out there on the internet now. It's crazy.
I think the pandemic ruined us.
The worst.
I think it did. Yeah, we're too close. We're a little too close. I told you. Look at that. That is a corn penis.
How much are those going for?
Why does it have balls? Why does it have corn balls?
Corn balls.
How did they make the ball part? How did they make that?
With more corn, they just snipped it.
They just snipped? What the fuck?
Yeah, you take the top part of the corn and
you snip them. Those are the bad ones. They didn't come out. They use those for the balls.
I will not be showing this anywhere.
Yeah, you can guess.
You can imagine it.
You can just imagine that one. Yeah, for sure.
How much are those going for?
Oh, let me find out.
Okay.
Is it $69?
The strangest thing that I've seen is, I'm gonna find it so Craig can show everyone. You guys talk really quick.
So we just got done with the live stream that we did on XP to level 3 where we did the Whispers of Wispy Peak.
Yes.
We like just finished it and we're like, why don't we just do the podcast too? So
might as well.
We kicked Colton out and Mia's here now. So
hi,
welcome back.
You can't get rid of me.
Nope, you're here forever.
Yeah, or at least until I steal your cat.
Oh yeah. Coffee Cake loves you.
Yes.
Coffee cat.
Yeah, it's okay. We called her that a lot when we first got her Coffee Cat, and we're like,
that's not your name.
Why did we name you this?
She loves anything though.
She's
just very sweet.
I wanted to call her Pepper, and you told me no.
I didn't say no. Okay, maybe I did because I was like, that's just gonna remind me of Iron Man.
Yeah,
because
probably.
Her name's Pepper Potts, and I was like,
well,
I don't know about that.
It's a nickname for her though. It's not a real name.
Well,
I can't find the fucking thing I wanted to show you guys.
I don't remember when you were last on the podcast, but
it's a while ago.
How does it compare from then to now? Like everything that we've done in between. What have we done? 6 episodes of Icewind Dale?
7
episodes.
That's true. When you were on, I don't know if we even announced that we were doing that yet.
Nope. We were just like, oh, Mia's here for some reason, and then like,
I think we knew that you were going to play though.
Yeah, we hadn't announced it
yet. Yeah.
We had made art for sure.
That game,
yes,
is so fun.
It
is.
I
love that game so much.
I'm glad you guys like it. It's I have so much fun playing with you guys, and like, it's not even. I was saying this earlier, but I'm repeating myself for the podcast. It's not even like the module. The module's whatever. The module's fun. It's like playing. It's our group. It's so good. I love that group. It's so much fun, and reading more of the Icewind Dale module. I'm going to repeat something I said earlier as well that I said I was going to repeat right now, which was when Icewind Dale: Rime of the Frostmaiden first came out, it is advertised as a horror game. It's like, ooh, this is all horror based and all that kind of stuff. And I read some of it, and then people were like, "This isn't horror. There's cookies in it. There's no cookies in horror." And I was like, well, you know what? you guys are wrong, because the beginning parts with the 10 towns, they're not as horror-esque because you have to establish a good thing in order to have, like at the beginning of any horror movie, it's like, oh, everybody's happy, and then it's like bad. And I was like, that's maybe what they were going for. After reading more of Icewind Dale, I would like to retract my statement. What the fuck? This game ain't horror? What the shit? I was like, once I get to chapter 2, it'll be horror. It's like, there's like a little bit. There's like, it's sprinkled with horror. And then it's just chaos. The rest of it is just ridiculousness. And I was telling Craig, I was like, Icewind Dale is really more like supernatural, kind of like crazy, sort of otherworldly, and that's cool. I really, really like Icewind Dale so far, everything that I've read. But the fuck, it is not horror. I haven't got to the last 2 chapters, and maybe like that's where it is, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, especially if you consider it too, like when you're talking about Curse of Strahd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it starts off right in the beginning of, guess what? You're fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awful. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm. And you get a real good sense of of the theme. It's like everybody's sad, everything's awful, nobody's happy, and also everywhere you go, you're gonna die. Okay. And that's horror. But the cool part is you can play it up as much as you want to or as little to. I don't know how you would make Icewind Dale scarier. It's like it's either just silly or and then sometimes a little scary, but like
Right. I don't know. It's probably got to be some weird thing of like always leaning into the Eldritch horror aspect of it, of like making everything Eldritch horror.
I would say that you probably just trim it. I mean, that's probably a lot of it. That probably, and maybe that's the point of the book, is that there are certain 10 towns that aren't scary, but you could start in Dugan's Hole.
So East Haven
means aside and B Innsmouth. And lead right into other stuff. You could do even Lonelywood. Sure, it's cookies, but you can make the old lady like a little too old, or like a little hag.
Right.
Ash, the evil little moose thing, and then go right into Sunblight and all the other stuff. And I mean, it's not as scary, but
that's the other thing too. Is like Sunblight, which we haven't got to yet, but we will soon. It isn't like it isn't. It's just a dungeon.
No,
it's good. It's well written. It's. I don't know if it's gonna be fun. We'll find out. But like, it's not scary. It's just kind of like, oh, it's like, you're right. It's kind of like Eldritch horror, I guess. So, and maybe that's just not something I find super scary. I find it fascinating and like really weird and cool, but it's not like, oh no, Cthulhu. Like Cthulhu is never like scary to me.
Right.
I don't know. But
it's kind of cerebral. Where like the idea of it, if you stop and you thought about it or talked about it, it's a little creepy. But like if you're experiencing it like vicariously, it's not that,
because it definitely does have a lot of like the key things. Like there's a lot of body horror in it, minus like what we do.
To me, it's not. But if you're gonna brand the book as a horror book, just because it's in there doesn't mean that it's the whole thing.
Absolutely.
So there are parts of the adventure that are super horrifying. For example, there's a monster called the Tomb Tapper. The Tomb Tapper is terrifying, but it's not the whole adventure. It's like one part. So the whole that's the thing about Curse of Strahd, is that it's a horror adventure with little lighthearted moments, not a lighthearted adventure with some horror parts. Like it's like that's not.
I think that's a great way to actually describe it, is what you just said. It's kind of the foil to Strahd.
Exactly.
Right.
Which also makes sense after they like, here's that also lines up with where the book comes out. Here's Rhyme. Here's Domains of Dread.
It'd be like calling Tomb of Annihilation a horror game. Like there some parts of it, but not the whole thing.
I think it's easily adapted if you wanted to. I think you can make both of them very scary, especially Tomb. But you have to smother essentially what Chris Perkins says is Acerak, because Acerak is really just a meme sometimes at best. We always talk about he's just like a scary game show host.
So is Strahd. He's not a game show host, but I mean, he's just often the way I would describe him is he's holed up in his room listening to MCR the whole time. So like, because there are parts where he shows up, but the way to make Strahd such a cool villain is to have him show up more often and toy with the players and do things. And that's not like explicitly written. There's like one part that is written in where he like rides by on a horse and then he leaves, and that's about it. And that's cool, but there should be more of that. And that would make what makes him such a cool villain, because the players are expected to go to Castle Ravenloft so often, because some of the other treasures could be there. There's NPCs that are there. He
invites you.
Missions that go there. He invites you there. And so like, and it's so big that they obviously intended for you to go to Castle Ravenloft more than just once. And that's what it's to as a player, it looks like, no, we're not going there until endgame. But that's not what the adventurer expects of you. And it's because Strahd's in his room listening to MCR the whole time. He's not there. That's kind of what you have to tell your players. And then also you want him to be a persistent threat. And it's just this juxtaposition. So I found a way. I think that I've got it to work because I'm running Strahd right now for my other group.
Me too.
And
Me too.
Yeah. And I have found a way to make it like both. And so what I'm kind of doing is like Strahd's going to be present throughout Barovia in different areas that they go to, like they may encounter him, and that's just going to be there. But if they're ever scared to go to Castle Ravenloft, what I'm going to consistently remind them is you'll only find Strahd in Castle Ravenloft in your card reading. So there's one room you don't want to go to because that's where he'll be. They can also roll him on a random encounter if they roll like a natural 20, but I really want them to go to the castle more often. So like in later levels, but we'll see what happens. But yeah.
My party thinks that he's their friend.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, you're running it too for another group. And
yeah, they accepted his dinner invitation through the mirror that's in the burgomaster's wife's like powder room. And they were like afraid because they weren't going to be able to make it, and they're like, we wanted to like make a good impression.
Oh my goodness.
So they were like, can we like send him a message somehow? And I was like, how do you want to do that? And can we find a bird to like take a message to his house?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Like, yeah, you guys have seen ravens if you manage to catch one, and the bird doesn't know how to get there.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Have you ever played in Strahd?
I've played, but I've never ran.
Yeah. Have you, Mia?
I played in Strahd for sure. We did Strahd, and then we did like a homebrew take on like what would have looked like after our campaign ended.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's fun.
It was definitely something.
Yeah, that's cool.
I played in that second one.
Yeah.
That was actually my first real introduction to 5e.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think the framework for Curse of Strahd is perfect because, and it's just the way I like that Chris Perkins designs his books, is that they are very like, they're like kind of like a skeleton where you can just get an idea of what it is and then go, oh, I'm going to add this in here.
Right.
So I've decided to do that with Icewind Dale. And I've gone through and I have changed portions of the game to make it more horror-esque. So excited to get to those. They will not be the base. I'm not like fundamentally changing it. I'm just going, I'm going to make this a little scarier. And that's all it is. So it's going to be fun.
That's my hot take about books like that is I think anything that's kind of more sandboxy, you're intended to kind of just take the flavor of it.
Yeah.
Or what you want out of it and just run with it.
What I hate though is like books like Storm King's Thunder, where some people like them, but it's just a Faerun campaign setting is all it is. And it's like this, okay, I want to have an adventure. It's like, here's some locations. There's a dragon. Good luck.
That was the first D&D campaign that I ran. Was Storm King's Thunder. That was my introduction to it. And
I'm sorry.
Goodness.
Oh my god.
I was a brand new DM doing AL, so it was open to anyone who showed up.
No.
And I was lucky I had a core group of people, but it was a lot.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's rough. Because you're like, okay, so the giants attack, and then there's like 25 locations that all have this long a description, and the player's like, we're gonna go to Waterdeep. And we're gonna look around, and you're like, and it just gave you this much. It's like, here you go. That's all you get. And it's like, so I'm glad that what they've done with the new adventures is they've just like locked you off. Yeah. And those are like my favorite. They go, Barovia, can't escape the mist. Icewind Dale, permanent darkness. If you leave, you're not helping anyone. Chult, it's an island, so get fucked. So and it like it stays the confines of the area. Like Waterdeep is just like it's in Waterdeep, and that's my favorite kind of adventures. They're super fun, and I wish I could do that with my homebrew games. My homebrew games, I'm like, it's the whole world, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I should just confine it to a small space.
Like I did it to myself, but still, I wish.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know where this conversation started.
Oh. Horror?
It's like a tangent of a tangent.
Dildo?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
$42.
Yeah.
Exactly.
$42.
$42.
That's overpriced.
I think it's me. I think it's underpriced.
No,
Underpriced.
Valuable.
It's art. You're right. I'm sorry.
That's homemade.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you want to look at some
I would.
questions?
I'd love to.
Brainbox111 asks, "What's your favorite Fallout level up perk system?" All right, I didn't read these ahead of time.
No.
I just kind of
my
read it.
favorite is
My favorite, I like 4 a lot. I'm not gonna explain.
50
I like
cap
all of
one
them.
load.
Okay. Why did you at me in this one? Don't at me, guys. Just put the thing, and I'll read it. All right. Todd the writer.
Why didn't I
asks,
get an answer?
Huh?
We didn't get to answer the question.
Oh, what's your favorite Fallout level up system?
I agree. I like 4.
You like 4?
Yes, but I've only played New Vegas 4 and 76.
I really like.
I hated 76s. I think that I didn't like it at all.
Oh, the cards.
The cards. Thought that
Yeah,
was dumb.
that one has the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to model the game RPG one after 4 more because I like how that one feels better. It's not that I don't like 3 in New Vegas, but that one feels better because it's like, what do you want? More strength or a cool thing that you can do? And it's like, I want that.
I played like 10 hours of New Vegas, I think.
Oh, nice.
Until I hit nighttime and a zombie came out. Or not zombies, but
ghouls?
zombies. No one told me about them.
Okay.
Okay,
I've
no
always
one.
wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
So you have a thing for zombies?
I
Not
do.
a thing. You hate zombies.
Well, it depends.
Do you have an attraction to zombies?
Yes, no.
Oh my god.
For you, no.
I was like, I didn't want to say thing. I was like, wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Interesting.
So it's, to be honest, it was, if I had been prepared for it, it'd been fine. I love 7 Days to Die.
Mhm.
Oh,
I
okay,
love
all right.
The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2, phenomenal.
Okay, all right, cool.
But like the ghouls, no one told me, because my brother like hyped this game up for me. He's
Yeah.
like, this is the next thing for you, Skyrim, blah blah blah, all this stuff. I was playing it. The ghouls came out. It was nighttime. All my lights were off.
You're like, no.
And I'm like, okay, nope, can't
I'm
ever
done.
play this again.
Yep.
Yeah,
Traumatized.
they're worse in 4. In 4, they're
They play
in that game,
dead.
they're just like, and they just go like this. But like in 4, they like have like their like faces are like melded and like stretched, and they
Oh,
look like
gross.
radiation victims a lot more than like the ghouls in 3 in New Vegas.
Yeah.
And they're like really slow moving, and then they'll turn it and they'll sprint super fast, and they'll throw themselves at you. So like other enemies in the game will like they'll run up to you and they'll melee you, or like they'll use a weapon. The ghouls just like sprint and then they huck themselves and they just fly at you. And when that first happened, when I first played 4, I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
I don't.
It was
Absolutely.
insane. Yeah, it was crazy.
I hate the ones that pretend that they're dead.
Yeah,
And
they
then
lay
you
on the
like
ground
walk
and look
past
like
them
they're
and
dead.
they're like, I'm gonna eat you.
Yep. Oh, great. Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome.
So Todd the writer ats me and then puts,
Oh.
have you checked the 3.5 Tarrasque? It has massive regeneration and can only be permakilled by a wish. Yes, I knew that. I played 3.5 and I remembered the
Sorry,
Tarrasque
nerd.
being so strong, and I forgot about that. Do you guys know that a 3.5 Tarrasque can only be killed by a wish spell?
I feel like at
Kinda
one
cool.
point I did know that, but it had left my mind. It's been a
Yeah.
very
It
long
is kinda
time since I
cool.
played
It
3.5.
makes them more of a legendary creature.
Yeah.
Still can't fly though, so it's more of just a really pesky creature. Just can't kill it.
I still don't think that entirely fixes the problem, because I understand what they're saying, because that's what the last podcast was talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think it fixes the problem. It still makes it a
No.
set piece,
Yeah.
Yep.
because that's still then the MacGuffins go get a scroll wish or some orb or ring or find some genie. And then
Exactly.
it's still a set
Mhm.
piece, which is
Mhm.
fine. But then the trash should be like galactic. It should be massive. It should split the earth.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because you're like, if this thing's gonna come out, we gotta wish it away.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It should like destroy
Yeah,
continents.
they
It should have
show
like
the size in the book too, and the Trask's like this, and the guy's like that.
yeah,
It's
it,
like,
should,
what the fuck?
it should be like Deathwing and like WoW. When I
Yes.
don't know if you've ever seen the expansion when it first came out, but the whole premise was Deathwing is massive creature, right? But he comes
I've
in
seen
and
the cinematics.
destroys the entire world, and then the game reflects that. So the game who's been playing for almost a decade now,
Mhm.
all the world looks different. Some places are just completely underwater now. Some places are just scorched barrens.
That's so cool.
That's how a Tarrasque, at least in my mind, should be. But that's still just
Sounds
a set
like
piece.
how it would be in your game. It'd be some crazy
Yeah,
creature.
to be honest,
world
that
beast.
actually might be a really
Yeah.
good point,
Yeah.
Spencer.
Yeah.
That could be how I ran it versus how it should be ran.
No,
Because
I like
that's
it.
exactly
It's
how
pretty-
I would run
pretty
it.
wicked.
Is something exactly like
Yeah.
that.
Dude, that would be such a cool campaign premise.
It just
though.
jumps up and eats the rest of the moon.
Well, yeah,
Um,
but to be honest, that actually
Well,
makes
yeah.
sense, because think of it like this: if the Tarrasque is asleep,
hmm
and sometimes they say these are like apocalyptic events,
hmm
that means every planet has one Tarrasque.
Yeah.
Which means the planet is its lair.
Oh,
That's cool. That's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
I would love to play, like, I think that's such a cool campaign premise to be like, what if the start of the campaign was, it's been 50 years and the Tarrasque woke up 50 years ago and the world's just destroyed.
What's it look like now?
And you have to, and your characters are not like, it's not even like their end goal. It's just like, oh, that's a thing that exists and we've lived with it.
It's kind of like Breath of the Wild a little bit.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like, and it would be like a post-apocalyptic sort of thing, you know?
Kind of neat.
I want to replay Breath of the Wild so bad.
Me too. I was watching Doug.
You didn't get your new Switch. Your Switch died.
Give me my damn OLED Switch. That's all I'm waiting for.
Isn't it out?
No way. That's not out. It was out.
Isn't that this
Greg,
month?
find out if the OLED Switch is out.
I feel like it's October.
So Zav, creator of D&D Waifus, asks, know what's an underused aspect of 5e? Hit dice. Don't think they're used enough. Just during short rests? Nah. They need to be used more. I've given my players abilities that consume hit dice to great success. How would you make hit dice more relevant? I like the idea of some abilities and or spells being tied to your hit dice. And like, I made a blood mage subclass a long time ago, and you would cast spells with your hit dice. So you would you would roll, it's kind of like Blood Hunter, but you would get like really powerful spells and you'd roll your hit dice, and that's how you did, and you would take the damage, but then you would you could either expend them or you could take the damage with your hit dice and use that with stuff. I think hit dice are like a just a new way to be like, you're losing something, and it's and like, then your short rests are gonna suck now. That's kind of mostly what it is. I believe it is used in one part of Icewind Dale that I have read so far. Yeah. I'm going to tell you what it is. You guys will find out later, but you'll be like, there is a place where it's really bad air quality.
Here?
Yes, it's here, Visalia. And
great.
When you breathe, if you hang out there, if you take a short rest there, you only recover half of your dice. That's it.
That's neat, I guess.
Yep.
Don't go there.
Well, you don't recover dice when you short rest. That doesn't make sense.
Is it a long rest?
I think it's two ways. It's either if you long rest, you only recover half of your short rest.
You only recover half anyway.
Why?
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Okay, so then I think it's if you short rest, you can only use like half your hit dice.
Oh.
Like,
I might just be fucking wrong though. I know that something affects your hit dice in that area. And it has to do with air quality. There's something related. When's that out?
The 8th, Saturday.
Oh,
wait, this Saturday?
I think
Told
so.
you.
Isn't that the
8th is
October 8th?
8th is Friday.
8th for Friday then.
I'm doing that right after this. I'm just
because the Questonomicon ends on Saturday.
Yeah,
It's officially landed on.
By the time this is up, the Questonomicon will have ended. Thank God.
Really?
Weight off my chest. Be like, it's done. We did it, Sam. It's done.
So you want to do it again, right?
Yeah, I'd do it again. I'd probably do it again.
In a year.
We'll see.
Give it a
I want to
year.
do something different. I don't want to fucking do one shots again. That shit was stressful. I want to start writing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. There's been some talks, but we don't know for sure yet. I think I'd like to. It was like backpacking. You know when we were backpacking for 3 days multiple times? Yeah. And it was like, we did it. Yeah. And every time at the end, I'm like, fuck that. I'm never doing that again. That sucked. 2 months later, I'm like, I want to do that again. That was fun.
Let's go.
Yeah, that was super fun.
There's always that lull. You gotta recharge, and then it's like, okay, I'm ready.
After the last time, I never wanted to do it again.
Well, I did. So.
I was so bitten up by mosquitoes. I was like, never ever again.
That's the worst part. Is the mosquitoes. That sucks.
I'm like mildly allergic to them, so it's like one little bite is like that big, and then my whole body, all my legs and stuff are covered, and I was like, never ever 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 again.
Yup.
I hate those little bugs. There's one in our house.
Hit dice?
Hit dice?
I think, weirdly, my brother did like a whole subclass, a homebrew subclass with a rogue that used its hit dice as sneak attack.
Oh.
Which was kind of interesting.
So it would be their hit dice.
Mm-hmm.
May have been.
If it was your own hit dice, that'd be weird.
Okay, so I think it was like a vampire class in some regard.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I could see sneak attack working in the idea of like your damage is based on their fortitude. So like it's like when you do damage to them, it's their hit dice you roll that does the damage to them, because it's like You know, it's their own thing.
But I still have that.
Or depending on how many
honest, I
hit
could also
dice
be
they
completely
have,
misremembering.
you would do more damage, maybe?
Sorry, what?
Maybe depending on how, like, I assume it would go up per level, and then depending on how many hit dice a creature has.
Yeah, so like
kind of
commoner,
kind of like a cleric's turn undead.
Yeah, so like let's say a creature has 3d8 hit dice, you would do, I don't know, 1d8, 2d8 damage to it. But if a Tarask has 50d20, you would do like 30d20 because it's like its health, which would be insanely broken and overpowered. But like it's interesting to think about, like doing damage based on the creature's abilities rather than that. So, because then it would come down to like percentages. It would be like, oh, instead of you doing like, oh, a creature has 600 health and you're going to do 10 damage, but 10 damage to a commoner is much different. Instead, it's like you're going to do 10% of their health, and it's just based on whatever the monster is.
Nope.
I don't have that anymore.
Oh,
so I only have his vampiric like weapons he made.
Fine.
I don't know. I think hit dice are underutilized, but I think it's just like an old thing.
I think they're underutilized because the campaigns I run or am part of, for the most part, we very rarely short rest, let alone short rest multiple times.
Yeah,
I think in running AL, you're usually looking at like, well, there's multiple combats before I can even short rest or long rest, and at that point in time, they become a lot more vital.
I think that's was kind of my opinion, is that I think a lot of people look at D&D and go, wow, this is an immense amount of information. I don't think all of it's supposed to be used.
Nope.
I think, and that's kind of the hard part of like a DM, is to kind of become that arbiter of Jacob's table looks different than my table because we arbiter different rules and go, we mainly take long rests in my game because that's just another mechanic. That's something that I necessarily don't want to deal with. So it could be that some people out there do have a lot of short rests, but maybe not a lot of long rests. Yeah, or they handle it completely differently.
Yeah,
definitely. And I think like for me, it's like we go back and forth. It just depends on where they are. So like if we're doing big old travel and they're going all over the place, it's like, yeah, we're mostly doing long rest. But it's like, I want to do a multi-level dungeon.
Absolutely.
You're in Castle Ravenloft. Short rests matter so much. And so it's like, and that's like where it becomes important.
With the system that we use in your games right now, short rests are pretty important.
Yeah, so we use the Middle Earth travel rules, and it's really cool because you can only short rest
unless you're in like a sanctuary.
Unless you're at a safe place, like a sanctuary.
Yeah.
So you can't cast Goodberry 100 times. You can only short rest. So short resting becomes very, very vital and becomes the main way of resting. And it also makes journeys feel like epic, but also like weary. Like it's really tiring, which is like how they should feel. It should be like, thank God we got to a city and we can rest. It's like, that's how you would feel. That's how your characters would feel. So
I do have a random question though. Did you guys rest in that room in Tomb of Horrors where they have that whole like bed sequence that you can rest in?
Oh, what? In the Tomb of Horrors or the Tomb of Annihilation?
Tomb of Annihilation.
I think you're thinking about a different thing.
Am I? Oh, well.
Wait, what is this? What is this bed thing?
That's in the homebrew Kalamashon stuff.
Oh,
what? No, what? Did you do it?
I mean, yeah.
What is it?
Dungeon.
What is it? I want to know.
I'm pretty sure what she's referring to. Are you talking about like one on a long rest? Yeah, that's a meme that I made. No, it's a essentially I made this.
I want to hear it though.
Just essentially, I was like, I really love this new Tomb of Horrors because it is. I love the idea that Atrax is just wicked game show host. So I essentially goes, well, what if I turn it up to actually 11? So I made a different tomb that was multi-layered and every room was different, where one room you'd be solving puzzles or very similar room to like the wine thing where you drown you.
Oh, cool.
And the next room would be laser tag with skeletons. So you'd drop into a room and there'd be skeletons with like guns, and you'd be like in this new armor. Fun! And one of them, to facilitate how quickly you would have to move through these dungeon rooms, that one of them would just be a room with a skeleton that says, "Fun on a long rest." And all he does is just point to the bed the entire time. So you could just long rest. That was not the Tomb of Annihilation. That's mine.
You were like, this is part of the game. That means it was really good.
Well, okay, this is the worst part about that. That wasn't even a part that we ran. That was like years later. It just spliced itself into it's just the book.
Well, I mean, that's all. That's all we call like tomb anyway. Like, that Chult for us is like this 500 hour plus. How you guys played Sunder is how we played Chult. We put time into it, and it was from level 1 technically to 20. So we went through the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's
That
cool.
was a lot.
That's really funny though.
Yeah.
Were they just like afraid to take long rests?
No, I think it was just a meme. I was just like, this is the break area time now. We want a long rest so we can reset so we can go into the next gauntlet.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
A ghostly panda, Sean K asks, your D&D characters appear in the real world. Are you friends?
No.
No.
Well, none of them?
None.
None of them?
None.
I'd like to be friends with Lamarcia, but just because she's hot.
Me too.
No.
I feel like I would have been friends with one of them.
Immolation.
I think Immolation is like got a. I think she was very wrapped up in her own life before this, and you know, keeping track of like teens and stuff like that. So I don't think our paths would have crossed.
Yeah.
No.
An immediate no from you two.
Yeah, no.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not even Baron?
I mean, in like a way of like I guess like an old neighbor. Like, hi, how you doing?
Hi, yeah.
Hello. But
you do a check every once a month to make sure he's not dead in his
you
house.
invite over? No.
No.
Never.
And then I'm thinking about how they would fit into like the friend group we have now.
I'd be
like,
friends with my characters easily.
Sure. I mean, I don't doubt that I would. I don't think they would with me.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's not that I dislike them as people.
Right.
It's I think they would dislike me as a
So
person.
I think that's
Oh.
true.
I wonder what that says about us. No.
That's the thing. I think it is really
Yeah.
fascinating because like if we think about it in the context of like our characters maybe wouldn't be friends with like commoners because that's like
Yeah.
what we are. But I think some of my characters would because we do. Our characters get attached to NPCs and whatnot,
Yeah.
and I think it would just really depend. But if I was just thinking base level, like they were real people and they weren't me playing a guy in a D&D game, and I was thinking about them as real people, I think I could get along and become friends with my characters.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you two are like, no.
Maybe
Like, I think that really speaks as to how we make our characters.
I would say maybe Farron, but he'd get annoyed because I would try to mother him. Like you
Oh.
are a mess of a person. You're not
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
18 yet. You gotta calm down. You have a
Philip-
drinking problem already?
Philip would be too much like of a Chad.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Yeah.
No.
So like, would you? Are you just like, I don't know?
No, I mean the problem is like, I think there's probably one who I could because she was very earnest,
Mhm.
and she'd be the type of person who like just eventually wear you down with it.
Oh, sure.
But a lot of it too is like one of them was like a chaotic bisexual.
Oh.
He's gonna be off doing other shit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I don't have time for you.
Like he's just he was a mess of a person too. And then one of them was like an evil paladin.
Oh.
Oh.
So yeah,
That's cool.
you know.
Abris.
Oh, yeah, I would be friends with Abris.
So
She'd eat all my food, though.
yeah, that's what I do.
No, you don't eat all my food.
Abris
There-
and I would eat the same amount.
No, but there's food that I eat that you don't like. Abris likes every food.
Okay, that's true. So, do you guys tend to make D&D characters very unlike yourselves? Is that like kind of?
I
like
think
what
I
you
had
guys think
elements
you
of
do?
myself into all my characters, but I don't think they're exactly like me.
See, I won't really like my character unless they have an element of me in them.
Yeah.
Because then I can't play them. I can NPC just fine because they're not permanent in any way. But like, if I'm making a character, it's like they have to be a little bit of me. They're otherwise and that's what I think we would get along really well because there's literally a piece of me in them. So it's like, yeah, of course we're gonna get along. But like, I think it's interesting. Like, and my thought process is like, do you guys don't do that? Is that why you think your characters wouldn't get along with you?
I don't know. I definitely, when I make a character, it's like imagine those little graphs that measure like waves in like a earthquake,
Mhm.
right? And then when there's like a giant peak, there's a large mountain, right?
Mhm.
Usually when I make a character, it's what is my most recent like really massive shard of like maybe it's like a trauma or something. For Baron, it was like Lacey being really sick. So I took that entire thing and then turned that into a person.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a way for me to like distance myself from that. So I did
Interesting.
that. And it's the same way with Lazarus too.
Mhm.
And then Tiff was the same thing.
Mhm.
Wow.
So all three of I played online. Besides like kobolds or whatever.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like improv. But all three of those characters I've had like a really big like emotional like event happen. And I take that and I make it a character.
Dang.
It's weird because like for me, I was someone who did a lot of fiction writing before this, and I realized that quickly that D&D is not fiction writing. So even though it's fictional, it's not the same.
Not like I'm
process.
questioning you. I'm just curious. Right. Why isn't it fiction writing?
I mean, part of it's because you have a lot more control when you're writing fiction. You have control of the setting and everything else.
I get that.
You know, and when you start and you commit yourself to doing like oral storytelling with people, you're sitting down to tell a story with everyone.
Oh, so it's less about it. Like, I don't know. I was thinking about it's obviously fiction, but like it's not the writing process. It's not like writing a book,
right?
Yeah,
right. So
because you do have complete control when you write. Because you're like, I want this character to go through this and have this story. But in D&D, you can be like, I want your character to go through this, and they'll go, no. It's like, okay.
Well, I mean, worse than, and not worse. It's just different in that, like, you're playing with other people, so your character's gonna be like, well, I'm gonna have this impactful scene with this person. They're like, no.
Yeah. You try to do something.
Or they come and they have this, and you're like, oh shit, that completely changes every other aspect of who I am, which is what I love about D&D, and in some ways, I think feeds into the ADHD part of it very well. You get a massive payoff immediately from it.
Yeah, that's the fun part too. Is you get to be like, okay, here's the thing that I just wrote right now, and everybody just gets to be with it real time. But it always frustrates me that people want their D&D games to be like, ever since I started playing D&D, I've been frustrated by people who want to make it into like a fiction story. And it's like, it's not. Stop. Like, people bog down their games with lore and like characters, and then they get upset when the party doesn't do certain things, and it's like, you just want this to be a book, so go write a book. It's not, we're not here to write your book for you.
We're here to tell a story.
Yeah, we're here to have fun and play a game, and also in the middle of that, tell a story as well. So I had to completely change how I came about creating characters because of that. Interesting.
And not to cut you off, but I think you should actually give a little bit of background, because I think this is going to feed into what you're saying about, like, you just said how you changed making characters.
Right.
Why did you, like, because no people that don't play D&D before that, what are they doing? They've never made a character, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
So what did you do that you were making characters consistently?
I used to write like whole short stories. Yeah. When I would create a character and then give it to my DM.
But you also but you also have an FMA and a master's in creative writing. So it's like you were doing stuff and you were published stuff before this.
Oh yeah.
And then you encountered D&D.
Yeah, so I was like, I was very much engaged in how do I write short fiction and how do I write novels.
Yeah.
And so like I came into it from that mindset, and I'm like, I love telling stories. Let me get hooked into this. And then I started creating like D&D characters, and I realized the important part for me is finding that character's voice.
Oh my God, I've done that before. Like, that's insane. I never thought about it like that. Yeah. You think, like, when you think about a character, at least I do when I think about it, and I want to be really serious because holy shit, by the way, you just made cooler characters than me, Craig, just saying. And it's because of that. That was super like raw and real, and I was like, fuck. I go, what if this character dumb? Anyways. And I go, I'm kind of dumb, I'll make him kind of dumb. So himbos for life. But really though. But like when I want to be serious, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna think of like all the different little things my character is gonna want to go through, and how they'll change, and like what kind of person they are, and what will change them, and like what they think about. And it's like, you're so right. That's not what it's about. It's just about like their voice.
Yeah, and I mean, so for me, the first place I start, if I'm starting level 1, is I go through and I build a soundtrack for them.
So does she.
Which it's weird because it's just like, it's almost a sacred ritual. Where it's like just trying to find it, and any soundtrack I create in the beginning is never the same. At least halfway through.
I go back through and I take stuff off.
Absolutely, as stuff changes. Yeah. I always use something that's really influential when I'm like in the moment with them. I think of the name of the soundtrack that I came up with, because that's usually where they start. I don't change the name of the soundtrack until it does alternate. And then I usually have a sentence for them. And then I can always reflect like, okay, this person is talking to me. I can recite the sentence in my head. That is their sentence. How then with this can I use to interact with this interaction I'm going to have?
This is changing my mind right now. It's blowing my mind right now. I've never thought about characters like this. This is why I'm a shitty player, because I don't think like this. No, really, I just think like, how cool can I make my character? Not like what the fuck, who are they, what kind of voice do they have?
I totally still have shit like that.
It sounds really cool.
Yeah, of course. But like, oh my God, I'm gonna rethink everything now. I'm gonna be a better player now.
I always have this for Lazarus, because I don't think I'm gonna get to say it. Because sometimes I say it like Baron and the Dash and stuff. But Lazarus is in this interaction, he's talking with someone who's like going, there's good or whatever. And originally it's like they're lying. Like the dead walk among you. There's 2 of them. You can't, the monsters walk upright and speak with you. You've already lost that fight.
That's so cool.
Give it up. The world's taken. Now he's, now, you see, that's the thing is they were they, and now he's kind of a he. That's changing, but it's a great way for me to go. Someone talks to me. That's like probably why Immolation and Lazarus so polar opposites, because there's so much optimism, and he's already like, it's already gone. Like, because if he's dead, then the world's dead.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's that weird thing for Immolations. I will.
What?
You're looking for Immolation. Lazarus got that fat ass.
No, she just. I don't think it's like false like optimism, but it's definitely like a one that it has to be there, because if it isn't true, like her entire world.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you hold on, like, that thing you're just literally holding on to hope. Like,
right.
it's not, I'm fucking God, bro. I'm God.
But for me, there hits a point in every campaign where I know that I stop speaking, and it sounds dumb to say, but like my character starts.
No, you're 100% right. You are right. No, that is exactly it. Once you get further along in a camp, that's how I am with Damon right now. It's like I used to like really like think about like everything he would say and be like, well, no, this would be more. And now I'm like, I sit down, I just am Damon, and then I stop and I'm like, am I just playing myself? And it's like, no, I've just gotten so into this character. I just know everything he's gonna say.
That's how I know a game is really good, because that's why for me it becomes a blur, because I almost take a second seat to that, and then I just wake. I'm like, oh, that was 4 hours gone. I don't know what happened because I didn't do it. Lazarus did.
Before we played Icewind Dale last time, what was like Wednesday? You told me, hey, do you ever notice that like you start acting like your character before we play? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like right now, you're a little softer right now. Like you're a little more quick with like what your answer is. It's like you're Kazira right now.
Before she plays La Marcia, she'll also get a little bit more like, I'm relaxed, I'm focused, I'm this person, and I'm like, is this fucking Kazira? Like, where did you go? And it is fucking nuts to talk about being like, I become my character, but in context with the game though, it totally happens, and like there's science that says that when you play games like D&D, the parts of the game that you remember, you literally store in the part of your brain where you remember real memories, and that's why they crossfade with other things. And it'll be like, did we do that in this game or this game, or was that something we did in real life? Wait, what the fuck? And so like, and it was crazy because like I've gotten better at it now, because I know what I'm doing now. But like back when we would play like multiple games and whatnot, we would get them all like confused and like because like you're saying, they just blur together. And so we're like, I don't know. So like, yeah, it's crazy how that happens.
I used to make our table play a D&D game and then some other type of game. Because for some reason, having that distinction of who did Cyberpunk and D&D was fine. If I had 2 D&D campaigns going on, I'd be like, one of these characters isn't going to get into. I can't.
So. Dang, that's crazy. That is going to change everything about how I play.
I'm sorry, not to interrupt, and this is completely fucking unrelated, but I noticed something during Cyberpunk, because I feel like a baby DM again, because I'm now DMing again. I'm not like in constant distress that my partner's going to go away. So I'm learning again, which is in a weird way, because I'm kind of teaching myself how to play again, because I've played for so long. We had a game Saturday. When it doesn't matter. We had a day, and we had a really tense moment when we had a police chief who's very corrupt come to a party, like a yard party, to a police officer who isn't. And he kind of flexed on him, and I was able to set up the scene really well and competently, but in my newness to it still, I didn't have complete control over the situation, so I was able to heighten it and I couldn't stop it. So the stress level peaked and I was able to like bring it back down, but at some point I realized that everyone was like this, which I no one can see me, but like their heckles were up and everyone's like, they were aware, but then I was also in that, because I'm like, and I didn't realize until Land's like, God, this is tense. I'm like, Oh yeah, it is. Well, let me turn that back down. Sorry, I didn't realize I was just escalating, and I had to bring it back.
Well, so a lot of it, for me at least, as playing at that table is because like I know that two people who are main players in it, and they're chaos at any given point. So I was just waiting because I'm like, oh, they're gonna do something. We're gonna go into combat. Like,
so was it you with another player, or was it you with yourself?
That was a weird thing. It was kind of me with myself because the way I DM, I'm very improv-y. So I'm I know what I want from this scene. I'm going to escalate it, make these guys clearly the bad guys, make it hard to interact with them and deal with them right now, but then they're going to leave.
If you got Landon to say, that was kind of
Landon was who was coming. That's who it was. Because what happened was, in the moment, the wife brings down a sandwich because they're in like a cellar trying to like, you know, figure out how to get rid of this guy. And she comes down and she bumps into the dude and like spills shit over him. So I'm like, oh, this would be a great time for him to grab her forcefully, and he has like robotic arms, so it'll kind of hurt her.
Oh shit.
So I did that, and I was like, oh, that escalated. And then Landon and my friend Dylan escalated because they're like, don't hurt that woman. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. And I'm like, oh my God, I did that. I didn't realize I was doing it. How the fuck am I going to handle the situation? I escalated the thing almost with my reflex. And then I had to deal with my own consequences. I was like, oh my God.
Because I knew before even that happened, it was like we're at a place where it was going to explode at any moment. And then it was like solos first or last. I'm like, oh shit.
It was crazy. It was a lot of fun, but it was that's another thing we were talking about playing
I'm fucking crazy or something. I love shit like that. Whenever it gets like everybody's like really being really serious, I'm like, I'm like the guy about to watch a fight. I'm just like, yeah. Like,
that's how a lot of this is right now for Cyberpunk, because we're running through something where there's like a riot that happens for a week straight. So we just finished day 1 of the riot of the week, and it's just everything feels like it's gonna explode. And I'm surprisingly impressed with how well I'm able to do it, but I'm surprised that I'm just to the wind like everyone else is, because I'm still learning how to like redo something, even though like I know my brain's like, okay, have her beat up that girl. And you're like, okay, do it. I'm like, what did I do? What has happened? Where am I?
Oh no, the tension is real.
Lenon's like, I need a break. I'm like, me too. Fucking shit. Who's playing this game?
I thought they were both gonna die. I was like, oh no.
Inside, and you just like zoom in. You're like, the fuck are you doing? It's the audio. Connor, the fuck are you doing?
I'm just the body.
Yeah. Gabagool asks,
what gobbled your last ghoul?
What's the worst first level spell?
Let me get first level spells up for you.
The worst first level spell. Okay, it depends on the I believe Identify is a first level spell, and I
slaps.
Love Identify. You know why it slaps? Because I made you use it. But the only this isn't like me.
And in an even fall, we don't have to use it. And I'm like,
I know.
I had to fucking prepare that spell.
I should fucking make you guys use it more in that game.
Somewhere in a fucking
goddamn Identify. But
nasty cave is Vincent being like, someone out there is just knowing what spells do.
Identify, and this is gonna totally sound like I'm just fucking memeing on Craig right now. I'm not. It's more on the spell than anything. I feel like there should be more of a game mechanic than it to be on the DM. But Identify sucks based on let me reword, because my brain is going all at once. Okay. Identify sucks depending on what campaign you're playing in, because some DMs will be like, you always have to cast it, and some DMs will be like, you just know what it is. So you take Identify, and then the fucking fighter's like, I immediately know what this item is. And you're like, why the fuck did I take this spell?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's actually a really great point. Some spells can be really clutch or completely useless depending on that. Because Jacob's absolutely right. The way I play stuff is I go item drop, you know what it is, and the only time Identify is
and you're not wrong for doing that.
No, but it is a style, and it does completely validate the spell. The only time that I count it as pertinent to me is if the item's cursed. I won't tell you it's cursed.
Yeah,
the item will be what it is, and if you attune to it, I'm like, this is your other half. I got you. But like a lot of that's like, you're right though, because that happens, and that's a really clutch spell. That happens with other shit that is even worse than Identify.
But Identify can be really good, but it's also just one of those spells where it's like, I have to take this because we need it, and if not, then... And it's just one of those things. I feel like Cure Wounds is kind of like that, where it's just like, oh, well, we need this, so... But that's why I like Healing Word so much, because Healing Word is like, it's a bonus action, which is fun because I can do a cantrip on the same turn as well. So I can use my action and then also heal, but it doesn't heal like that much, and it's out of range. So Healing Word is like really fun because like you get to be like, boom, bam, and it's like, oh my god, are you not going to cast Cure Wounds? I'm casting Healing Word also, and everybody's like, yeah, it's super fun. But Cure Wounds is just like, I'm doing the thing I'm supposed to do. There you go. I also love the big flex of like a 10th level paladin being like, I'm gonna heal you, and he's like, oh cool, you're gonna heal me 5 hit points? No, 50. Fuck you. And it's like, oh!
Get back up in the fight, boys.
So cool. I like that with that one, you can just use however many you want. Like, that's a fun mechanic. But like, I just healing potion out of my hands, that sucks.
To be honest, most of these I really like. Like, I'm looking at all of them. Most of them are pretty good.
My favorite level of spell is 4th. 4th is like, has almost all my favorite spells. Because it's the point where they're not baby spells anymore, but they're not super powerful either. So you have like Fly. But the cool part about Fly is that it's concentration. So when an enemy casts Fly, like what happened in my Waterdeep game that I ran with my patrons, and they're like, yaha, I'm going to leave. And then somebody shoots somebody, loses concentration. He's like, ah! And he just fucking dies.
Goodbye.
He just falls out of the sky. Like, that's really fun. There's some other 4th level spells in there that I really like.
Death Ward.
That one's really fun.
Fly 3rd level?
Is Fly 3rd level? Maybe I'm thinking 3rd level.
Fly's 3rd.
Okay, let me look at 3rd level spells because I know it's the level.
I will say that
Fly
from first
is.
levels, the only one I really didn't like was I wish Sanctuary was better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
it. You wish it was better?
I wish it was better.
I feel like it's really good
that doesn't
already.
mean necessarily it has to be. Well, I guess I should say this. I wish it was better because I think it should do something more, but that does not mean it has to be a first level spell. I think Sanctuary should be like a higher because I want it to like, I want this idea of a paladin. I guess it could be in my mind if it's a paladin casting Sanctuary, and that means it almost should be like anti-life. Like, I want them to like go, I'm going to forfeit my attack to sit here and guard my companions.
I like that.
And I want it to not be wisdom saves based on whatever. I want it to like just be either half damage or something else. I want it to be this huge motion that a paladin decides to throw down their shield and become this barrier for their teammates. But it doesn't always happen that way because they have good ways or something.
I'm gonna go with Illusory Script.
Yeah.
Illusory Script does suck.
Yeah.
I forgot we were talking about I forgot we forgot to talk about we were talking about our favorite, not least.
Yeah,
favorite. I went to favorite, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily 3rd level is my favorite.
All right, well that's not the question.
I know. What was yours?
Oh, I wasn't throw shade at Craig. Entangle. Oh. I love using Entangle, but every time I use it at table I get memed on.
Okay, but that's why though?
Okay, because you
yeah, exactly.
You are the problem, not me.
I never feel guilty about anything because I can Uno reverse you and you're like, all right. Shit. So the problem is myself, not me.
No, I think it's super clutch and actually very controlling, but no one else seems to like it.
No, I think it's good. No,
that's whatever.
So the real issue, I'm going to blast you again. You shouldn't have brought it up. Is that sometimes you will build a character, and if you don't really know what to do, you'll build a druid-esque character. Because I think that's your default. And by doing a druid-esque default character, you pick what the fuck it is, Entangle, which signals to everyone at the table, Erin's not made her mind up yet. Don't get attached yet. We'll figure it out. And then later you'll switch classes. And when you don't have Entangle, we've made it.
This is a very deep reason to not like Entangle.
Yeah. I don't like, it's not a dislike Entangle, but when Erin goes, I'm going to Entangle something, we're like, all right.
I've never heard somebody say,
let me know when you're here to join to play the game.
When we know you're casting a spell, we know you haven't made up your mind about your character. What the fuck?
Welcome.
I don't like Entangle as a DM. I like it as a player because you get to cause
spell's
chaos.
Cool. I love when you did that last time that dwarf got murdered. That was really funny. He just couldn't move. He was just like, I'm just dead here.
I will answer my least favorite 1st level spell. I just want to talk about how great 3rd level spells are. Animate Dead.
Yes.
Beacon of Hope.
Yeah.
Bestow Curse is fun. I don't care what you have to say. Bestow Curse is fun. Blink, so great. Because do you know why I like these spells? Because they're cooler. They're cool spells that have drawbacks. Right, like Blink is like, I don't want to get hit, but I can't really control when I'm coming in and out.
All right, one more, and then your least favorite 1st level.
What? But come on.
No. No, we're not going on a tangent.
All right, Fireball is also 3rd level.
Yeah.
So
Beacon of Hope that doesn't really have a drawback. That's all I'm saying.
It has an area. That's a drawback, I guess.
It's like 60 feet though, because
Yeah.
30.
It's
Okay.
better than Paladin Auras till like
17th level.
It's the 17th level.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck animal friendship. I hate that stuff.
Hey.
It's useless.
Oh,
Come here, squirrel.
Speak with animals is the same thing, but more fun.
This is another weird thing while you look through all those. I am playing in my friend Justin's game right now.
Yeah.
And I just switched my character from a trickster rogue to a Paladin of Glory.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling this to Mia the other day. I think Paladin of Glory is now my favorite Paladin.
Yeah.
That's the one where you're like, it's all about heroics, right?
Yeah, it's very, very cool, and it makes you think about the game in different ways, which is crazy because I'm a big stan of Ancient, Vengeance, and Conquest. I love those ideas, but Glory is so cool. So cool.
I agree.
And it's also a really great team player one.
Oh, absolutely.
Great team player.
The stuff you're doing.
I don't even know what the ability is called because they call it a spinner start. But if someone starts within your aura, they have 10 extra movement. So it's meant to like you're supposed to line everyone up like a phalanx and march together with each other. So everyone gets to move off.
That's
the deck.
fucking cool.
It's super neat.
That's so cool. I want to play that.
It's very cool.
That makes me want to play Paladin.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Paladin
I
is
would say
best
illusory
class.
script, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick something different because I want to talk about it. Greece.
Aw.
Greece fucking sucks. And Greece would be I'm gonna homebrew Greece because I think Greece should be better. I like how it works in Baldur's Gate 3. Easy. So Greece is a 5-foot square. It's just one fucking square. If you just make it a 5-foot radius, or no, I think it is a 5-foot radius. So it's a 10-foot square.
Yeah.
If you made it a 15-foot square,
Mhm.
and if you light it on fire, it explodes with flame like it does in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Amazing spell.
Yeah.
It's so cool because it's like a prep fire spell,
Yeah.
and you can make people go whoop and fall on the ground, and that's a good time. That's fun.
Time. Yeah.
Now it's just you just fucking jizz on somebody's legs, and then, they fell, and that's the whole fucking spell. That's
I
stupid.
hate that spell in Baldur's Gate 3 because the fucking goblins use it and poor Shadowheart can't get up. She just
No.
gets
Oh,
up,
no.
slips
Slips
again.
and falls. Yeah, and I like how useful it is now. I was
Yeah.
like, Greece is awesome. Yeah.
That's the
Shadowheart.
perfect analogy for rhyme. That book can be either haha you slip or ha you explode.
Yeah.
It's scary or heat trip.
Craig, you said Uno reverse card earlier, and it just reminded me of the fact that when we were watching Return of the King, when Aragorn goes and he's looking in the Palantir, and he's like, "Hey, fucking Sauron, I have the sword," and
oh my god.
Sauron goes, "I got your bitch." And you went. You had an Uno reverse card.
We were dead ass in the theater and we were watching Return of the King, and Craig just went, Sauron just did this.
And then his necklace falls, and you're like, "Good God!"
Fucking suck.
Oh, this is a good there's a good question for you guys, but I'm going to ask this other question first. Ben, leader of men, asks
Whoa.
the
Wait.
scenario.
Did you say leader of men or eater?
Leader.
Oh,
Okay,
I
Eater
heard
of
Eater
Men.
of Men.
Oh, I heard leader.
Ben, change your name to Eater of Men.
Yes.
Uh,
You have 24 hours.
I'm watching.
the scenario.
Yeah.
You're going home for Thanksgiving and pissed at your parents.
Yeah.
So bringing a horrible date to piss them. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, hang on. I gotta reread this. It's
Yeah.
weird. The scenario: you're going home for Thanksgiving
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
pissed at your parents. So bringing a horrible date to piss them off.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Am I not good at English? I just don't understand this. What published D&D villain do you bring? Oh, I
Oh.
get it.
Oh,
I get
that's
it. Okay.
easy.
Oh.
You're pissed and you
Easy.
want to bring a date, and that's
Yeah.
gonna piss your parents off.
Easy.
Cool. What is it?
Strahd.
Strahd?
My mom literally told me when I was at college that I couldn't bring home a vampire.
Oh.
What? Why
Why
she would
not?
even say that? I wasn't. Look, there's a lot of it where there's no reason for her to even have said that.
Yeah.
But the fact that she took a hard stance.
Come on a vampire.
Mia, if you bring home a vampire,
If Edward Cullen comes into our house, you are disowned.
does she mean
It's
like
Mom,
a
what do you have
guy,
against vampires?
a person that thinks they're a vampire, or like they dress
Could you
like?
imagine? Like that
She's
is
like,
the,
nope, two vampire. You
that
get
is
out.
also the just the picturesque thing of millennial parent, where you like your grandparents were like, "You better not bring those people around here," and you're like, "Okay, Grandpa, chill out,"
Yeah.
and your mom's like, "Don't be bringing vampires home." You're like, "All right, Mom, I don't know what you got against
Walk in the door.
vampires."
Just imagine you walk in the door, you're like, "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad," and they see this guy and they go over and they're like, "Who the fuck? What do you got in there?" And he's like,
Yeah. You like garlic,
They're like,
kid?
"Hey, you want some?" They're like, how do you like that garlic bread? And he's like, that's fine.
I actually don't eat.
I'd like a little bit more sunlight.
The girl's like,
to you.
was like, hey, so I really gotta tell you before we go in here, my mom and dad really have a thing against vampires. And he's like, what? And she's like, okay, I want to go.
And he's like,
I'm a vampire.
It's a dude who doesn't realize, but he starts thinking he's a vampire slowly throughout the night. He's like, am I a vampire?
Gaslight him into believing.
Why would she say
you like
that?
some wine? And he's like, is this blood? And he tastes it. It's wine, but he's like, is this what blood tastes like now? Oh
I love this.
Yeah.
It's like Get Out, but they're just gaslighting him into thinking that he's a vampire.
Whoa.
Not ready for this.
Oh,
Yeah.
make that a movie. That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. Caitlin Rose asks, wait, I didn't
No.
fucking answer
Yeah,
why D&D
no,
villain would be.
That's
I
good enough for
think
the
it'd
rest
be
of the
weird if I
class.
just walked in with a goddamn corpse and it's just a Sarek who's just like,
Hey.
and there's like,
Hey.
no, my mom would be like, oh.
Oh.
Hey, Sirac.
My mom would dead ass
How'd
be like,
you meet?
Yeah.
where is your skin? It's like, Mom, you can't just ask people where their skin is. Yeah, no, I don't. My parents, they're too easy to please. They're too hard to displease.
No.
Yeah.
Like anything like non-humanoid.
Maybe Zuggtmoy, because Zuggtmoy is like a fucking mushroom, and my parents would be like, "Holy fuck!" It's just too weird. It's just
Yeah.
not a person anymore.
I like that they can deal with a lich, but not a mushroom woman.
Sarah got these
Too much.
still
Like,
got,
her
like,
titties are mushrooms. No.
They would just be concerned. They'd be like, who the fuck is this? Like, they'd just be confused because the Sarek still kind of looks like a guy. He's
Yeah.
just like corpsey. But
Uh-huh.
like, if I walked in with a
Corpsey.
fucking floppy ass demon lord of mushrooms and fungus, and they're like getting COVID during dinner, like it would be a bad time.
Poisoned aura
No.
immediately in.
Yeah. So like Zuggtmoy or
What about the ooze guy?
oh yeah,
No.
Jublex.
I mean,
Yeah.
really any demon lord.
Yeah.
Probably any. No, Gratz would be fine.
Like, well, no. Could you imagine you walk in and your parents immediately start making saves on the madness table? Mom develops a long-term fear of peas.
No.
Dad's just shaking, just throughout the entire.
My dad just becomes inconsolable and weeps for 6 seconds. and
Dad,
it's fine.
what do you think of Baphomet? Do you like him? Ah! I see little men.
Whoa.
They're running around. They're stealing our things. I have to leave. My mom's still on the floor. Oh, that'd be amazing. Oh.
You got one? Vince?
Maybe like either of the Castellanders because they're like devil worshippers.
But they're still like just guys.
Yeah, I know,
like,
but-
you could get away with it.
Yeah, but if it ever came out, I'd be like, never
if-
invited back.
If Cassandras were that guy wearing those pants, I'd also kick him out. You gotta leave, bro.
Can't even fit through
Why
the
is he dressed
doorway.
like that?
His eyes are too thick. Yeah.
Gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Victorio Castellanter. I'm dummy thick. My mom would still just be like,
Oh.
Oh.
They could say that they worship the devil, and your mom would be like,
okay.
okay.
My dad left because of the madness saves.
Yeah, he's
so.
not.
He's a real
He's in the
little whiz.
background running circles.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Caitlin Rose asks, do you find it easier to...
Jacob doesn't know how to read.
Do you find it easier adapting other genres into D&D or playing/learning a system that is made for it? Cyberpunk, Deadlands, etc.
Playing anything other than D&D hurts my brain.
I don't agree, but that's your opinion.
Yeah.
I would prefer to play a different
Wait.
system.
You don't agree with that? It hurts our brain.
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't
you're
hurt your
wrong.
brain.
It doesn't hurt your brain.
You're fine.
You're
fine.
Spencer, I don't accept your pain as reality.
It's all right.
No, it doesn't hurt my brain.
Right.
I
got
would,
that.
if somebody's gonna give me fucking it's Shadowrun, but in 5th edition, I'm like, let's just play Shadowrun. They're like, but the D6s are hard. And I'm like, but let's just play it anyways. Like, I'd rather play a new system than try to force it into something else.
Right.
That's why I didn't make Fallout 5e. Oh, good. More Dungeons and Dragons. Like, we already have D&D.
I do-
Fucking, let's play Cyberpunk and play the real Cyberpunk, not D&D Cyberpunk.
I do really enjoy playing other things, but it does take me a while to get comfortable.
Yeah, but, like, I have always a fun time playing new games because it's like it's a brand new experience and like you get to learn new rules and you get to like make a new kind of character that isn't like D&D and you also get the best part about playing other systems is you get to go, I like that rule, I'm gonna take that and put it in my 5e game and I'm gonna do that. So
what was it that we played with Jordan? Shadowrun?
we played Savage World Shadowrun because apparently Shadowrun is notoriously shitty and that's what everybody tells me and I've never played it.
I really enjoyed that.
So, but Savage World's Shadowrun was very fun, and I liked it a lot. And I liked Shadowrun a lot because it was like, it's cyberpunk, but also there's elves and orcs, and it's like, this is cool.
You want magic? Here you go.
Yeah, that was really fun. And that's why I like City of Mist, because City of Mist is a
Wasn't
whole
I
new...
your drug dealer in that game?
Yeah,
and I lived in your house in like a closet.
Yeah, I was like Damon, but
and I was
if
sleeping with your
Damon was like
girlfriend.
a gangster. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, and Logan was like...
Logan was your girlfriend
Logan was...
that I was sleeping with.
Logan slept around with the whole party.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Tyler's character was a dude who didn't have a body that lived in the Matrix, basically.
No,
and
they had a body.
Yeah, I'm getting to that. We thought that he was just like in the Matrix, but like his character was in this. It was just like a dude who sat at home at a computer and like only spoke to us and interacted based on where we were. So like we'd try to get into a door and Tyler's character would just open it for us, and like they weren't really there.
They were
and I was
like
like,
a
that's
super
fucking
hacker.
awesome.
Yeah.
And
Very
we
cool.
all had an insect theme. I was cockroach and you were stick. And Logan was Ladybug. And Tyler's character was,
I don't remember.
I don't fucking remember, but it was a really good play on words. And Colton was anime and Katana, of course. And Colton was
that is Shadowrun as fuck.
And Colton was like Sting. No,
I don't remember. Didn't Colton play No, Colton came in later and wasn't part of the bug thing because he wasn't there when we started.
I think
he just named his character and then later like came into like a bug theme.
Wasp or
so it was something,
and then Grace was
also not part of the bug thing.
No, I think she did end up getting into it though.
I don't remember.
We had a bug theme, and I don't remember all of it. This was like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and Jordan ran it, and it was super fun. And we ended the campaign with going to my high-rise apartment and a bunch of bad guys coming up. And I went into a helicopter. Everybody got into a helicopter and flew away. And I detonated the building and went down with it. And it was a good time. Yeah. And you were a drug addict, and it was really fun. It was.
I was a drug dealer.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You were like a schizo though. You were like insane.
No, I was just terrified of blood. And so you guys would bring me with you on these
you
jobs.
And
then you'd be like, hey kid, look.
So we went to like a VR like arcade.
This lady's brain came out of her fucking nose.
What was it called?
Black ice. Yeah.
And like and like her brain came out of like her nose and you were like yeah. And my character was like, oh well, I have a gun.
Yeah.
And it was a good time. And
I was like, do I really
now
need to be here?
Want to play Cyberpunk. Holy fuck. Yeah. Run Cyberpunk for me, Craig.
Give me a time slot.
All right, I will.
But I cannot promise that we won't get spooky, and then I'll be like, Craig, can we stop him? Yeah, can we please? I want to get out of here.
Wait, how do I get out of this?
I'm scared too.
Craig ripped my arms off 4 times and put them back on. I don't know what's going on.
That's a weird thing. We really haven't had that. Well, no, I lied. Never mind.
I
was about to say, normally we have a Cyberpunk because Cyberpunk has a really cool mechanic where limbs are just locked because that's like you're gonna replace them. And normally, like, oh, we have a problem with that. This one, but we did. My friend, when the last big one we played, we had 2 guys get in a fight with swords, and one wind up being unable to like stop the grapple. So what happened is the guy was able to like decapitate him while they were in the grapple. So he severed his head, which is
Holy
a limb.
shit.
They'll fix it because Cyberpunk's cool that way. But this other one, the same guy had his leg shot off, where he was against a car and a guy rolled real well, and essentially a machine gun spread removed his leg from the knee down.
Oh my god!
I will run Cyberpunk
That is
whenever.
so cool.
Just give me
I
a time
love
slot.
that. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
I will say very briefly, I don't like playing new systems.
Oh.
I'm kind of a stick in the mud because
Fair.
it's really hard for me to get into the systems. But I love masks and I love Cyberpunk. But Cyberpunk is like, the way it was introduced to me wasn't like, here, learn this rule book. It was 3 a.m. on New Year's. And Craig is like, okay, here are blinders.
Yeah.
You're going to play.
You can play it.
Well, that's really great about Cyberpunk is that the game itself boils down to essentially, look at me. You have a stat, you have a skill, you have 1 dice.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in combat, you'll roll all 3 and you'll add them. If you're not, you don't roll the stat.
Cool.
That's it. Yeah. He's like,
And it's
I'm
like, what can I do? Everything.
like,
Whatever
wait,
you
can
want.
I
That's amazing.
And then I will tell you what skill to use.
Can I
Don't
jump
even look at the character sheet.
onto the car?
Just look at the number.
Can I jump off the car?
Yes.
Oh, great. Can I decapitate someone?
Yes.
Can I jump off a building?
Yes.
Will he die?
You will die. Yeah.
Okay.
You will die.
You will die.
Momentum is bad.
That's so fun.
But that's how you roll Cyberpunk. You don't ask, will I die? You ask it in a separate question after you've already jumped.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
will I die?
Will I die?
Almost assuredly.
Oh,
You've already done it.
Now, how are you gonna get out of it? Good luck.
that's so fun. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Sack, commission's open. Asks,
Oh.
all right, here's a scenario. You're given the ability to turn into a dog at will, but you will get to choose the specific dog breed you turn into. You only get one. Which do you choose, and how? And how would it be useful to you?
I'm gonna turn into that Bush's baked beans dog
Oh,
and just get free beans.
I thought
You
you
just become a. You think people just give you beans?
Never mind. I'll be that Chihuahua from Taco Bell that gets shit.
They don't give them the food.
I'll be that dog that was the Target mascot.
He's animated. He's fine.
Okay.
Didn't he like bite children?
I'll be dead.
We'll be euthanized. All right, so I can turn into a dog at will, but I can choose dog breed I turn into. All right. I don't see how like being a different dog breed would help me as a person in any way, because I don't think being a Mastiff versus being a German Shepherd versus being a lab. I'm still fucking dog. Like, how useful is this going to be?
Yeah, you can't really think of a
Can I
situation
just
where a
sniff
dog would be
shit?
better.
I'll pick the one that can sniff things real good.
Oh, like a hound?
Yeah, I'd turn into a hound whenever I want to fucking find something. But like, when I turn into a hound, I'd be like, I can smell everything, and just like freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
Also, my brain's small now.
Hmm.
Would I know to turn back?
No, you're just that forever.
Stuck forever. In my Fallout system, I give dogs a perception of like 18. In a but 18 it goes from 1 to 10. So in D&D that's like a 28. And I think that's how they should be in D&D as well. Their perception should be fucking insane because they're on inhuman levels. So they have
dogs.
really good perception.
Hell yeah.
But I would I'd probably turn to a hound and be like, where are my keys?
Right there.
Yep, I go, oh, there they are.
You can't drive though, I'm a dog.
And then I'd be like, oh my god, my ass smells so good.
Oh.
And that would be me as a dog.
Checks out.
I'll be an Australian Shepherd because they're really pretty dogs.
You just want to be pretty?
I don't like dogs,
Oh.
but that's a pretty dog. Yeah, unpopular opinion, I don't like dogs. Like at all. They upset me.
Oh, sorry. They upset you?
Yep, I don't like.
What?
They're too much.
She hasn't had
No,
a
too
good
much.
Okay.
I think dogs are beautiful
Yeah,
creatures.
right. You just don't want them.
I just don't want, like, if I could have a dog that was like a cat,
Yeah.
love it.
Wow.
You, at that point, just have a cat.
Yeah, I already have a cat.
Yeah, you're good.
Marshall, you always heard Marshall's argument about it. It's like when there's a good cat, it's basically just a dog.
No.
Because the cat is loving and it goes to you and it appreciates you and it's like,
Yeah, I
that's just a
disagree.
dog.
I disagree with
My only thing with dogs is that people say cats smell worse. I don't agree. I think cats can if you don't take care of them. I think that dogs smell like shit all the time, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
And I like dogs sometimes. I just depends on the dog. I don't like a really like excited dog because I'm not fucking hyper all the time. And if a dog be like, if you don't love me, I'll die. Like I'll be like, oh, this is too much. This is way too much. But like I like my parents' dogs because they're pretty chill. Woody is weird. Woody's this big old freaking yellow lab, and I like Daisy. She's small. She's like this big. She's so ugly. She's cute. And she's just like, she's just a little gremlin. And I like her a lot. But like Woody, it gets like depressed if you don't pet him enough. And it's just, and he doesn't like get hyper. He's just like.
He's an old man.
He was like that when he was younger. He's just like, he'll make this fucking face.
And he's like.
That. And he's just sad unless you give him attention. Otherwise, he's scared. And then if he's happy.
Very attached to your dad.
Right in your face. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to smell that. And it's just a lot.
Need more space.
He loves my dad.
Yeah.
And my dad loves him, which is really nice.
But like pre-COVID times, your dad would go on like business trips to New York for like a week, and would you just be like, I'm depressed?
He would.
He would go get his shoes.
He finds his shoes, and he takes his shoes in the middle of the living room,
and
both of them, and he lays on them. And he goes, and he just misses my dad. And it's sad. And I was like, oh. But he doesn't care about fucking anybody else.
No.
He's just like, Dad's gone.
Your mom would try to console him.
Yeah, it's just weird. He just gets really depressed, and But like, as soon as you have a ball, he will kill himself to get the ball. It's insane. It's ridiculous. So like, good boy, but also gets sad too much. Yeah.
What dog would you be, Craig?
Like one of those tiny little Shih Tzus. Yeah. One of those tiny little Shih Tzus, so I could go to the dog spa all the time.
Oh.
Yeah. Like the ones that like look like a mop end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. The little small ones that just.
They don't even look like they're walking.
No, they're just kind of
going like this.
like Hoovers.
Yeah. Oh shit.
It would have to be something that either Lacey would be very attached to or Landon would, because
like
you wouldn't feed me. Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Say wouldn't?
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't take care of
like,
me as a
little... she's a dog again.
Yep, I'm good. But Lacey might if I was cute.
You were cute enough.
Any dog it is.
Yeah.
Zonkers for Honkers.
Yes.
Asks. Sorry, Zonkers for Honkers.
Oh, lad.
He didn't ask that. No. He didn't ask that either. He didn't ask that either.
All right.
Ask that one.
Help! In my Hombres campaign, I've created a volcano island called Dad City.
Oh.
Wow, there's so much already to unpack.
Where the dads go to have a BBQ cookout and do other dad things.
I'm liking this.
Okay.
Obviously, my players are full on beeline towards Dad City.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas off the top of your head? They all wear sandals. And it's a part of like their ritual. They all have to wear sandals. They all have to wear khakis. And they always say, "Hey, how are you doing?"
Or those like,
and they go, "You see the game last week?" And you go,
or those like white and blue shoes. What are those called? Are they Reeboks? I don't know what they are.
Like Skechers or something.
Skechers.
Yeah, prepare puns. Have a bunch of puns ready that they can all say and just think that they're super funny about.
The Home Depot theme is playing in the background somewhere. You don't know where it's coming from.
Someone's doing it.
Maybe it's inside the volcano.
There's always like a readily available like hardware store too that they can just like go get things and fix up their deck. That's it. Everybody has a big old house, but they only care about fixing up the deck.
There's got to be different rooms for different hobbies. Like maybe your dad likes to put ships in bottles.
Yeah.
Or collect stamps. Dad stuff. Ooh, History Channel has to be on.
You can have like the market, the little farmer's market, but they're all selling weird dad things.
Yeah.
Like these are my mini ships in a bottle.
Yeah.
I will sell you. These are all
my dad makes leather wallets.
Yeah. Every dad also in their houses they have thermostats, but they have full nobody else can touch.
It's a magic one that's like
it's a magic one that only works for them.
Every dad attunes to it.
Is there a
thermostat?
Is there a mom island?
I don't know.
Does nobody have moms in this world?
Maybe that's the big twist. Maybe the people who have moms that fill more of a parental a
fatherly role.
Father's role.
They could be there.
They could be there too.
Yeah.
You could have the butch lesbians there, also looking like dads.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all were wearing the shorts and khakis as well.
Yeah, the dad term transcends purely gender.
Yep. And there's a volcano, so maybe
there's got to be like a chili cookout.
I feel like there should be like the lava elemental in there that like scoops out and then is a giant dad that then uses the volcano as like a standing barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So like all the dads bring up this grill on their backs.
Yeah.
And they have to climb to the top, put the grill over the volcano, and then they all sit around the mouth of the volcano looking like this into it and go, "That's great."
Great.
As this lava elemental comes out and starts flipping a
Yeah,
giant
yeah.
burger.
Actually, what they
And then
say
all of them just watch and go,
So good.
and what they actually do is they look at it like this, and then they go, it's looking like it's done. And then they flip it.
yeah, they all have to assist.
Yeah. At the exact in sync too. They all flip it, and they go, those are doing good. These are gonna be good, guys. Smell that. That's what they all say. And then, and they all stand like this.
Yeah.
The
And
power
if
stance.
any of your players are fathers, the second they come onto the island, everyone knows.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
gotta
If
run
anything,
up and they gotta do the dad thing. Like,
welcome.
hey, Dad,
Here's-
we've seen you in a while.
Here's
Even
your
the
thing.
butch lesbians have mustaches. Everybody's got
They
mustaches.
don't have-
Yeah.
Mhm.
Those are definitely fake though.
Mhm.
Or the dwarves.
Oh,
There you go.
Yep.
There you
Makes
go.
sense. Makes sense.
They would also, they would all talk about the same thing, but they would for some reason still ask everybody about it because they just want to know how they felt about it for no reason.
Also think you're
They also always say champ.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the size of your house should determine how many greats you are. So like elves have massive homes because they're like great grandfather.
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, so like
Mhm.
their houses are massive because all of their other sub dads,
Sub-dads?
yeah, their dad brood lives inside lives inside that monolithic house.
Are these
House
all
dad.
are these all like widowed
House.
people? Where are the wives?
That's what
House
I wanna
Jeffrey.
know.
No, this is when dads go out to party and hang out.
Oh, it's like
Yeah,
a vacation.
Yeah, it's big. Dad.
Or it starts as Dad Island and then evolves
Into
every
Daddy
new
Island.
moon. All the wives and all of the children arrive and they cook. That's why they're cooking for everything.
Mhm. Oh, also
They're
everything
cooking
on
for the
island.
full moon's wife rise.
Everything on the island can't be free either.
Yeah.
Everything just has to be a really good price.
Right.
It can't. If it's free, it just feels like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. But if it's like $2.99 for some buns, that's a steal. Like that's what gets dads horny.
Low priced
You
buns.
should also have like a lot of stores that the dads can just go around and stand around in. Not
Right.
really doing much, but like feeling like they're doing something, and then they can leave. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. And you can't tell them who has the lowest price because sometimes dads just want to find the lowest, and so they go to
You
every
gotta walk
fucking
around the
store.
entire.
They drag you around
store.
while you're 9 years old, and
James
you don't
Scott's-
want to be at fucking Home Depot and Lowe's and the other 3 fucking hardware stores we have here in town. But you go
Someone has
anyways,
trauma.
and my dad has to look for every single is this the clearance? Yep, it's 2 cents cheaper than the other place, so this is what we're gonna get. But I'm still gonna stay in the store for 30 minutes looking around, seeing if in some fucking corner they have the thing I'm already looking for that is cheaper. And it's like, Dad, why? Just come in here and buy the thing you came here for. But he doesn't. He has to stay around. And then your wife later on wonders why you don't like to be in a store for more than 10 minutes. And it's like, well, because that.
Yeah, I've
He's
learned.
working through some stuff.
I've learned. Yeah. Now I just go on your phone. It's got like this little gaming place, and I go.
Oh my God. It actually felt.
Piffle?
I found out I got some games on my phone.
You got games on
You
your
got
I
games?
got games on my phone only
Now we
for
know.
when we're shopping because
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
Yeah.
I just want to walk into a store, buy the thing, and leave.
Fucking
hate
sitting
it.
on
Oh,
like a
no.
bench in Victoria's Secret with like a VR headset. He's just like,
It's just my husband. Don't
don't
worry.
mind him, don't mind him.
Yeah, he's fine.
Also,
He's
sleeping
harmless.
on Dead Island would be hellish.
Oh,
Yeah, every dad would get up and like rustle around with their house for every fucking 30 minutes and then go back to sleep.
There'd be so
The
much snoring.
Yeah.
yeah.
To be honest, that's what puts maybe the volcano elemental like sits back in the volcano, and that becomes like his massage chair as every dad snores and it shakes the literal island,
Yeah,
and then he goes
But the Home
and
Depot
chokes a little bit.
the
They-
Home Depot
they-
song never stops
Never, yeah.
close enough.
in the distance.
There
If
is-
anything, it just changes like in tone. Like once it is the Home Depot thing, and maybe it's like a little orchestral,
Oh yeah.
and maybe it's kind of
Soothing
like,
at night.
Yeah. It's a little soothing.
All the dads have beds, but they sleep in their chairs.
Oh.
Yeah, all of them do.
None of them sleep in their beds.
No,
but they have them.
they're resting their eyes. They're not asleep.
Yeah. All dads resting their
When
eyes.
they wake up in the morning and there's the birds that are like tweeting, they're like, I was just resting my eyes. And they get up.
I was watching the game.
They also all get up at 5 a.m.
But I have a question. Who solves their technology issues?
They pray.
Lesbians.
Yeah, there you go. Done.
Okay.
Done. The world works.
Yeah.
The world keeps spinning. Hopefully,
they're like, oh, you should know a lot about this, huh?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Must be real. You must be real into them computers.
Yep.
I didn't think you people did that.
My phone's been on the fritz.
You people.
You people.
I'm also a dad. He's like, oh.
Also, all of their this is like slowly turning into boomers. They also all of their phones too. They have phones, and they're like the text is really big.
Oh.
You're like, look at this, and you're like, back up.
Yeah.
Back up. I did the eye exam. Line 2.
When Among Us Sussy Baka.
Whoa.
I don't get it.
It's a meme from your son.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
That's Marshall. Marshall fucking does that. We show Marshall memes and he's like,
I don't get it.
I don't get it. And I'm like, Marshall, you're not much older than us, dude. Like, you just fail to comprehend fucking memes, dude. Anyways, God. My dad gets memes more than Marshall. He acts like he's so old. He does on purpose. He's just like, I don't get this because I don't want to get this.
You gotta play into it. You do. You gotta play into it.
Maybe he gets it, but he doesn't, get it. He's like, I understand that that's funny to you.
Yeah, Marshall has a hard time with internet humor. He doesn't get, if... You could never explain...
TikTok to Marshall.
You could never explain why I slam my penis in the car door is funny to Marshall. Like, he would just be like, why is he slamming his penis? And also, why is he going like this? And it's like, Marshall, it's like, there's like layers to this, dude. Yeah. I just want to let you guys know that at Potato Truth 4567 every week asks Peebus.
God, commitment. Oath of the Peebus.
Oath of the Peebus.
That's my next character.
Have you guys watched fucking What If yet?
Yeah. I haven't watched the most recent one though. I've heard it's so fucking good.
It's good.
I am upset that I went to a party and I didn't have an opportunity to use the Thanos What If meme on Jackbox.
Oh.
Yeah. Which one? The
Ant-Man goes in his butt. Yeah. I wanted to use that and I couldn't. Instead, I just failed spelling the entire time.
A sick, nasty birthday party for me, and we all played Jackbox, and it was so fucking fun. It was such a good time. I was laughing so hard. Craig was like, I don't know what the floor is. And I was like, it's whatever you want it to be.
Craig and I were talking about that. It was such a weird thing because I know how to make Landon laugh hysterically or Lacey. Like I'm hyper focused into like what can I do to get them? And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, I want to play it with you guys. I want to play with your group, and because I think I would cry the whole night.
Oh yeah,
Justin
I would cry laughing.
and Landon are just tyrants.
Absolutely.
They're so fucking
all right,
funny.
next time you guys play,
that's a weird thing. Justin is, if not older than Marshall, and that motherfucker gets it. Yeah. He comes in with bangers all the time, and he's the one that talks about the exact same thing that audio we were just talking about. My penis in the car. He'll come and go, could you see that?
Us on it.
Oh, it's so fucking funny.
Justin is
he just gets it, man.
Yeah, it's so funny.
That slideshow one, I'm like, Landon would fucking kill us.
Oh, Landon
would
doesn't
have to be.
I'm pretty sure Jackbox is the reason I have a good relationship with my family.
Yeah.
We out of when Maddie and I were moving out and we were living on our own and we had we were in that stage of I don't like my parents. It wasn't until a few years in where they'd be like, come over and have dinner and we'll play Quiplash, and we'd be like, what's this? And we'd play it and it was so fucking fun. And it was when we got to realize that my parents thought penis jokes were funny, and we were like, oh, mom and dad are cool, and yep, that's why we all like each other, is because thank you, Jackbox. He repaired my family.
A satisfied customer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm always so sad, and I remember it every once in a while where when we were gonna move into this place, a week before, you had ordered a Jackbox shirt.
So in TKO,
yeah, you can order the shirts that you make.
That they make, and it was literally just like it was like a guy
with his ass out.
With his it was just a stick figure with a big old fucking dump truck, and it said "Eat a baby."
And I just think about the people who moved into that apartment after us getting "Eat a baby" in the mail.
It's a shitty fucking stick figure.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah. That was funny. I want to do Quiplash, and I want to make we should do another Arcane Arcade party sometime. And I want to make a Quiplash 3. You can make your own questions. I want to make Quiplash 3, but with Arcane Arcade themed questions. I think that would be funny. It'd be a good time. Yeah,
it would.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Oh, not again.
I failed.
You did.
I tried to catch it last time. I couldn't do it.
Oh, did it break?
Wait, did it break the dice?
Did it break?
No way. I did not break the dice. No fucking way.
No, it's fine. It's right there. It's right there.
Oh.
Is that my Switch charger? What is that?
I'm going to do it this time.
No, don't do it.
For anybody who's audio listening, I'm just throwing a dice.
No.
A really big
don't
one.
Don't do
really
it.
High.
No. I hate even that.
Did it?
You did it. It hit the ceiling and everything.
Really high,
no,
actually.
don't actually hit the ceiling this time, please.
That's the end of the podcast.